Hi, my name is Vladisław and this is my second tutorial for JavaScript. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a basic function that will output us some text in the browser, and you may saw in some browsers or in some sites you have a pop-up window sometimes. It depends what you're doing, of course, and we're going to show that pop-up window too in this tutorial. So let's start. In this tutorial, this certain tutorial, I'm using NetBeans, and I think in the next tutorials I'm going to use this. Actually, in this whole series of JavaScript tutorials, I'm going to use the NetBeans ID. It doesn't matter what you're using, I'm going to show it. Not show it, it doesn't matter just. Okay, the first thing you should know, I created a new JavaScript project, it doesn't matter what's the name. The project is PHP project actually, but that doesn't bother us. It doesn't need to be a JavaScript project. I have here only PHP projects, so this is not a problem for us because we're going to use JavaScript code, not a PHP one. But in my case, I'm going to use PHP extension files. I'm going to use it on my server. But if you're writing only on the HTML extension files, this won't be a problem. Okay, so let's start. For example, I'm going to show you two ways to write a JavaScript. And the first way is only on one file, or in my case, in the index.php. If you have an HTML file, how I said, it's not a problem to use it there. Just I'm going to start it on my localhost. So let's start. First thing you should know, if you're writing JavaScript in a file, for example .php or .html extensions, you must type a tag. So we can't just write the JavaScript in here, for example. We can't write any JavaScript. This won't be accepted as JavaScript. So we must write a tag, and in that tag we're going to write our code. This tag is called script. Then we must type what code will be put it in the tag. So we pick type, then text JavaScript. We close the tag, and everything inside the script will be accepted as a JavaScript because we here entered text JavaScript. So let's start, and this is the first way that we can output JavaScript, or we can use JavaScript in our browser. For example, we want to output some text, and we can do this by this function, this certain function. We can write document dot write brackets, then semicolon. First thing you should know, this function, we say it like that. Document, we point the page, then write, we point the function that is actually write, and write function is actually outputting anything that's in the brackets. Then we end the function with semicolon. A lot of times we're going to use semicolon, so don't forget them. They're very important. In some cases you can get an error, in other cases you won't, but it's very important to have them. And here, if we want to write some text, for example hello world or anything, we can't just do it like that. Hello world, for example. It will be an error, and if your editor is good enough to show you the errors, you see here we have some error, and this is because we can't do this. We can't write text in the brackets only like that. This is accepted as a variable. For example, if you know variables from math, yes, they are the same, and actually if you know variables from anywhere, variable is the same thing. There is a name for the variable, and the variable contains a value. I'm going to talk about them in the later tutorials. I think the next tutorial will be actually for variables, so wait for it. And let's delete that. Actually, what we need to do here is to type a quotes. For example, we must have an opening quotes and closing quotes. They can be double ones. For example, if you open with double quotes, we need to close with double quotes. And everything we type here, for example, hello world, will be accepted as if text. And if you don't try anything, actually, if you don't start right now, here we can see we don't have any errors because NetBeans is a smart editor and it shows that there's no errors. And some other thing, instead of using double quotes, we can use single one, for example, like that. But this is the same thing. Again, it's outputting text. But if we're trying to use something like that, like double quote, and we're ending with this single one, it won't work. Or the opposite. We're starting with a single and ending with a double. This isn't working. So let's leave it like that, like a double quotes or a single one. And here is our text. For example, hello world. Let's save it and run this thing. How I said I'm going to run it through the localhost, but it doesn't matter. And here it is, hello world. This is the first way we can use JavaScript in our browser. And I'm going to show you the second way. The thing here is we're going to use a JS extension files. So create one. For example, I'm going to create it in my source files. Click the right click on the mouse, new, and JavaScript file. I'm gonna name it, for example, let's be tutorial 1, and save it. Here we can enter JavaScript. So let's write only the function document.write, and again something like hello world, or no, let's be hello base bouncer. Let's save that, and if we run this, you get only this thing or the script that shows us hello world, because we have no connection between our tutorial1.js and our index.php. This is the part where we must include our tutorial1.js file in this index.php, or in your case maybe .html. So what we're going to do is again a script tag, that is a script, and we must choose a type again, text, JavaScript. But here actually we are pointing with this parameter. We must type source or src equals, then in the brackets we point to the directory, for example tutorial1.js, and again end the tag. This way we point to our tutorial1.js and it's actually imported in this index.php. And now if your tutorial1.js is somewhere, like if we have here a folder, and in this folder is the tutorial1.js, you must type like that, folder / and tutorial1.js. Okay, I'm going to delete that because our files are in the same directory. Let's save that, and I'm going to start it. I'm going to mark this. I'm not going to tell you what's actually this. This is a comment, but I'm going to explain them later. Let's start it, and you may see here hello base bouncer. Okay, let's go back, and how I said, we can alert something or not alert. We can pop up a box. How I said we're going to do that. So for example, alert, and again semicolon. This function here, how we see, it's called alert, then again brackets and semicolon. In here, everything we type will be displayed in our pop-up box. For example, this is a pop-up box, and I'm going to copy that, paste it here, Let's unmark this. This is a pop-up box 2. It's just some sample. I'm not going to explain about these functions because each one of the functions we're going to use, they have its own purpose and nothing more. How I said, the document write only writing on the screen, and the alert only showing some pop-up box on the screen, nothing else. So there's a lot of information for these things. Let's start it, and you may see this is a pop-up box, okay, and this is a pop-up box too. So what's going on here is that first there's this box because we included tutorial1.js at first, and then we write our JavaScript in our index.php. So the code is being created from the top to bottom. So when we are starting index.php, it's reading this line, and this line actually says a lot more because we're including this line represents all these things in that file tutorial1.js, or the file we included here. Then it goes down, and what's down is document.write and alert, this is a pop-up box too. So that was for the tutorial. Thanks for watching. If you have some questions, ask them. I'm going to answer, and bye bye.